This is your boy Officer Man. We talking about Argylle, a movie that's very interesting to me because it's made after The King's Men, which is a very British, basically spy thrillers, and basically makes fun of all our favorite spy thrillers. Let's get to it. Yo, it makes fun of all
Does it?
it,
Does
it
it
does
really?
it actually does. It actually makes fun of Mission Impossible with what's the name I always say? At the end, he actually makes fun of what he said.
I
The
got to be
king,
honest here. This movie,
not spoiler for the first part of it.
this movie was so well done. If this was a parody or satire, I wouldn't be able to tell. This movie was done really well. It had plot twist. They didn't they didn't stick on the love angle too much. Like this was a really good movie. I
It
didn't
kept
know,
my attention throughout the whole movie, and I, so that's a great thing.
but
It's
not
one
in a
time,
not but not in a Fast and Furious way, right?
sometimes some stuff threw me out. Some stuff I'm like that made no damn sense at all. But again, like the Kingsman is a parody of the Mission Impossibles and all that, so they kind of make fun of it. Even and if you watch the after credit scene, it is a reference to Kingsman again
There is a reference there, correct?
with a surprise in the Kingsman reference. So it's a lot of references to other spy thrillers, including the one it's based off of, which is like I said again, the Kingsman. And I not spoiler the first part of the movie. The acting, Henry Cavill in this movie, and Henry Cavill can be anybody he wants to be in any movie. From The Witch and the Superman to a comedic spy who drives off the side of buildings with the worst car I ever seen in my life going through cement.
Uh, Like I said, the twist in this movie was so I didn't see it coming at
Some of them they
all.
kind of some of them they kind of foreshadow.
I mean, it took a while. I didn't realize that she was going to be whatever she became. Since we're
Yeah,
not doing spoilers right now,
yeah.
the movie was just so. Just a quick synopsis. Um, there's this writer. She's on book 5 of this spy thriller. And she's like everybody loves her. She's awful. She's awesome. And then she goes to she goes on a train ride or whatever, and this guy happens to be a spy, and she keeps seeing visions of the character that she's writing about. But and then it turns out to be like this other guy though. And so at the end of the day, they go on this European tour of doing spy stuff, and then she finds out secrets about herself, and that's the synopsis of the story. That's it. That's the plot line. The
Yeah,
author.
yeah, she's the author, and all of a sudden, all her writings are predictions that see the
Yeah,
future.
it was like a remember you know that show now y'all babies ain't gonna know about this, but there's a show called Murder She Wrote, and it's about an author that every time she wrote they had these episodes of this, and everything she wrote came true,
Yeah,
and that's what this was about, was everything that she's writing is coming true,
yeah. So
but
that's
there's a
basically
twist as to why it's coming true, and it's not no crazy Fast X2 stuff. It's like there's a real explanation behind it.
they did have a few fast X scenes. Yeah.
That I think that so there was this initial scene where Argyle, Agent Argyle, is like chasing this chick on a motorcycle through Greece, and he may or may not have performed a grind on a rail with his car.
And it's a scene at the end in which you didn't need a car, but it was very like I don't think you can do that on all, but we're gonna talk about
Can
that
we
later.
let's talk about stop licking electronics, man. What's wrong with
But
you?
but the
Um,
acting in this movie, you had a
yeah.
slew of the best actors. You had, like I said, Henry Cavill is a star in this movie. Bryce Dallas Howard, if you don't know who she is, she's a
Who was Henry
star.
Cavill? Was he Argyle?
Yeah, he's our guy.
Was that Cranston from the dude that sell meth? What's his name?
Who?
Malcolm in the Middle's dad. Was that him
Yeah,
as like the main villain?
he's director Ritter. So yes, he's in the movie.
He is director. Okay, man. I was like, he looked familiar. Is that yes, sir? Maybe I don't know. Will you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. Yeah,
You
that
got copyrighted.
that part. Sorry.
Facebook banning me again.
Look, listen. Did you get kicked off of Facebook already?
No,
You just
they'll
talking
send me.
about the movie and how great it is.
They'll send me a letter telling me, "Hey, I heard copyright in Japan. They didn't like that. You shut up. You can't talk for 5 days in messages." But
There should be a full
Sam
explanation
Rockwell. Sam
behind that.
Rockwell is amazing. You had Richard E. Grant. They had Richard E. Grant as director Fowler, who is director Ritter in her stories. So he even made a short appearance. You had John Cena in this movie. So
There was one black person two no there was two black people of interest, Kira and the black guy that runs the audio.
yeah, you get his name one time in the movie and it's just back on the director. So that's the only time that you mention his name. Other than that, he's like idiot. Stupid.
Yeah, it was very much giving boy fix the audio boy vibes, like, you know what I mean.
You saw his name one time. It ain't even listed in the top cast that he was. I'm like, bro, they got fan one listed more before he listed.
I mean, I quite honestly, yeah.
The only you do got Carlos. So Carlos is there.
Carlos, who is Carlos?
Carlos is the main security guard who was the one that initially came up and met on the at the book sign at the beginning. So he's in
Oh
here. He's
yeah,
a
yeah,
top
yeah,
security
yeah,
guard.
yeah.
So you had like amazing actors throughout the movie. It's a well written movie. It had some after wall things that probably won't happen, but it's entertaining and keep you interested, especially toward the end. A lot of surprises in the movie. The soundtrack was okay. It wasn't the greatest soundtrack. It was fun though. The
I
soundtrack
didn't
was
I
fun.
didn't even pay attention to the soundtrack. That's how involved I was in the actual scenes. Like, I was like so enamored with what was going on, what was being said. There's an amazing gun battle at towards the end of the movie. Well choreographed, and then there's a Tanya Harding. If y'all know, the babies don't know Tanya
It,
Harding. Tanya Harding
yeah.
is an ice skater, and
You don't.
man,
By
that
the way, that's
choreography was
I was.
insane.
It was, and I do have a problem with that because I'm like,
You have a problem with that scene?
listen. I don't know if you ever been in that situation, but I promise you, you
I've
can't
never
do
been
that.
in a situation where I've never been in crude oil before. No.
And you cannot. It's not ice stuff.
Have you?
It's
Have
not
you
ice
been in
stuff.
crude oil before?
All you got. Hey, if you work with mechanics, you'll understand. You is not. It's not ice. It does not work the same. It does not work the same way ice do, my guy.
Man, I mean, the speed at which that scene was done. But we got to admit, man, that was incredible choreography, man.
It was well made. Everything that camera angle. We're gonna get into production, then we're gonna get into spoilers. Production wise, I loved a lot of the production. I
Yes,
love the
sir.
camera angles. They do a thing in this movie in which to change scenes to another place, she literally passes out or closes her eyes and they be in another scene. It's like a loading screen for a video game, and I thought that was so unique. Like, okay, you can go to sleep, and I gotta say sleep and rest now. You can trust him, and then they
Well,
in another scene, and I'm like, they in France, they in Tokyo, they in this place. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
oh,
That's
I
a nice
apologize.
touch.
I forgot to fanboy about this. We had a Samuel L. Jackson appearance.
Oh yeah,
I
he's
fanboyed out a little bit on that one. And he's watching the Lakers
he's
in
watching.
France. He's in France watching the Lakers, which is weird because how are you watching the Lakers in the middle of the day in France?
Well, technically by time zone, it'd probably be night. And by the way, he's
It
watching.
should be nighttime in
He
Paris.
what you can tell when this movie was filmed because he's watching Ray John Rondo. With
We had a Rajon Rondo. Shout out to him and his situation that
I'm like,
happened
is
this
this
week.
the bubble?
This was bubble Rondo.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how long ago was this? You can tell when it was filmed though, because I'm like, okay, all right, it's Rondo and LeBron them together. I'm like, that's been some years, dog.
And we didn't even know this movie was coming. And you'd actually have to go to, because I haven't seen very much commercial uh with this. I don't even see it on YouTube that much. So I gotta say, from a commercial aspect, I'm very I'm surprised because you would have had to gone to see a movie to actually know that this movie was coming out. I've not seen any type of ads for this at all on TV.
To be fair, most movies nowadays you don't find ads. I'm like,
Well,
you have to
you
go.
would think you find them on YouTube, right? I don't even lately. I've been seeing stupid shit on YouTube as far as ads go that ain't got shit to do with shit.
We actually had even Dua Lipa was in this movie. She's so beautiful. Shout out to Dua Lipa.
Who
Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa was in this movie?
That shit was Lagrange. The
Who?
blonde one. She was the she would had the blonde
Oh,
wig on.
oh, oh, oh! That was a crazy scene. Did we also we also need to shout out the fact that the lead actress was super thick, and I'm okay with that.
Bryce Dallas Howard is a major actress. I
You
don't know
know,
if y'all understand
usually
him.
usually it'd be like some skinny white girl or something like that. No, like they put a thick one in there, and we was okay with that.
By the way, if you don't know who she is, she was in The Mandalorian. She was in The Help. She was in Jurassic Park Dominion. She was in Black Mirror. She
Which who was she in The Mandalorian?
she's what's her name?
Was she is she the like the wild haired chick that be doing whatever she want to do, or oh, Mandalorian? I ain't watched that. I watched that girl and that Mexican boy that be stealing stuff, but I ain't watched the Mandalorian all the way.
So,
Uh, Black Mirror, which
she was Claire. Well, I say she was in Mandalorian. I think she got out in the first season. Let me see. I forgot her name. She was one of the main characters with that group that he was part of. But let's get to the
yeah,
let's
yeah,
get to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but man, that was cool, man.
She was the director. That was she was in the Mandalorian. If y'all know
Okay,
who the director is, the director, but Joe don't know. But she was Hilly Holbrook in The Help, and she was Claire Deering in Jurassic Park, and Lacey
Claire.
Pound in Black Mirror. Yeah, so Claire Deering in Jurassic World Dominion. But she's
Okay,
an amazing actress. She's really good, by the way, at what she does. So, um, spoilers. Okay, let's get into spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, leave right now. But I thought, like, listen, they have a scene in this movie. Basically, what happened is Ellie Conway found out her name is Rachel Guile, and she's the Argylle that she made up in our movies. And all of this is not a prediction of what happened; it's
yeah,
her actual life.
yeah,
And they brainwashed her into thinking that she's Ellie Conway, and director Ritter pretends to be her father, which was a nice surprise when she showed up at the door. And he's like, "Don't open the door! It's somebody trying to get me." And then he opened the door and like, and then they did this like cool production scene, which I praised throughout this whole thing, where she's like, "Dad," I'm like, "What?" Yo, all the surprises had that one little scene where it like blurred out the background and it zoomed in, which I like for production because it always showed the surprise. Like, and then like he even said something about I want to put a bullet in the head of Conway, which she thought he was saying her, Aiden, but he was talking about the dad in that situation, which also threw a confusion, which led to the thing, which was like I said, that was a like foreshadowing that it was gonna be somebody else.
mm,
So that was the foreshadowing in that part. Cause I thought like, why would he say that? And then he showed up and I'm like, okay, makes a little sense. But yeah, she got mind controlled by the directive, which is trying a secret service agent that does all kind of corruption, does election fraud, create all this havoc in the world. And I got Alfie, which is named after the cat, by the way, which she remembers somehow. and still named the cat after him because that's her guy. Who is Samuel L. Jackson is trying to, is the former head of the CIA.
CIA.
Yeah, and he's trying to basically prove that the directive did it, and that he's not some insane person who believed this government agent went rogue. So essentially, the story is how they have to get this stuff with all the people in the directive, which was interesting because at the end of the movie, they murdered almost everybody that was on the thing except her, and I'm like, who the fuck y'all snitching on? Y'all blew up everybody in the tanker. Who the hell y'all snitching on?
We're gonna bring y'all down. Ain't nobody to bring down.
Even though they try to clarify it, the ones that were left, no, it was two people. It was ain't nobody we saw was left, and it was like two people probably somewhere else.
Everybody was on that tanker that was anybody.
And they all got blown up at the end.
And then let's talk about the irrevocable damage to the ecosystem of the ocean from blowing up that tanker like that.
And they just blew it
Let's
up.
talk, there was crude oil on that ship. So with that being, there's that's a pollution crisis. Has anybody ever played Metal Gear Solid 2? You know what happened? They had to come up with Big Shell to clean up because a tanker blew up in the Hudson River in New York.
I like how they try to clarify it too, because like I said, some stuff in the movie they shot in there, and I'm like, y'all ain't supposed to shoot in there. Like y'all, and then they shot in there, like, and then when they realized that they were like, oh, we ain't supposed to shoot this, I'm like, y'all already did it. Y'all already shot it at.
Everybody's trying to play Rambo knife guy, and she ends up doing a whole ballet dance.
This is why I said you do not. This is why I was talking about earlier for anybody that was wondering about the spoilers. Well, y'all knew if y'all hear it and y'all listen to it, but you are not finna figure skate on crude oil. It was cool looking. It was cool.
It was very cool looking. That whole scene was off the chain.
But I promise you, nobody on earth is gonna slide on crude oil. That shit is thick, and you are not going on that motherfucker like that. I can promise you that. You know, I can promise you, especially when it's pouring like that, ain't nowhere in hell you slide on this shit like that. I'm just telling you right now.
Then forget the safety protocols. Killer.
And then all of a sudden she just picks up the gun and starts shooting her. We're like, why the fuck you didn't just do this at the beginning?
Man, that spin game was crazy.
And then they had this cool scene that I thought was cheesy but cool at the same time when they start playing with the like smoke grenades and it was all different colors and they were showing love and hearts and shit. And it was like,
yeah,
it was so cheesy, especially when she picked him up like he did earlier, and that's her move.
As much as I wanted to call that cheesy, because it very much deserves an eyebrow, right?
It was cool,
but it was so cool how they choreographed it that I couldn't even.
It was still
I'm
cheesy.
struggling with calling it cheesy or not, right?
It was a cheese I'm okay with because it wasn't long. It wasn't too long. I can forgive it. But
how many niggas is on this ship, and why does everybody suck at their job?
At first, I like how at the beginning of the movie, the people at the beginning was like the best spies. Like I know I'm like, oh, these people just running and get shot, but they were ducking, dodging, and everything. I'm like, oh, we got smart spies. And then by the end of the movie, they just gave up and they just start running into bullets. Like they shooting in the hole and they're just all running up into the smoke. Pop, pop, pop. I'm like, okay.
Everybody turns into a clone trooper at some point during every movie. At some point, man.
You remember at the beginning of the scene when Aiden was in there and they were throwing grenades and he was shooting and they were ducking
in the train.
Not even in the train. And then when they went to the old boy house to get the code, and he jumped out the floor.
Oh, that part.
Yeah,
that part.
I was like, oh, people ducking, they dodging, they trying to get behind stuff. Oh, they smart. They ain't just running in there getting shot. They actually tried to jump him one time because I remember seeing it. Like he was fighting, he tried to punch him, but he ducked behind and punched him in the face. I'm like, at least they jumping him. They ain't doing the Walker Texas Ranger with 30 people trying to jump him, but they all wait one by one.
Man, you know what? That's what's wrong with America. That movie just showed us what's wrong with America. They just hiring anybody right now. So like,
I respected them, but then they got progressively worse through the movie. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like, man, sometimes you be ready to put in your 2 weeks notice. A lot of them people they send in there probably already had their 2 weeks notice, and it was like, man, fuck this job.
Maybe they sent the best in early. And they didn't, and there was all that was left.
They all they
The,
they
the
all
people,
took a L eventually.
yeah, the people on the train, the people up there, they all were the smart. The people in that room, they were the best they had. And then when they were gone, they just had,
The train fight scene when she was in the bathroom, a
yeah,
couple of times I was expecting him to pull back up, but no, it was one of the girls that was fighting him, and they were about to be on him. Like they was like they was getting the best of him, but they couldn't get they couldn't quite do it because plot armor.
I'm like, my man getting jumped out here. I'm like, but hey, listen, at least I felt like they were trying to jump him. They were trying to get him, and they just out. And he outsmarted him. I felt okay with it. But then as the movie progressed, they got dumb. But it was all right. It was too many people. And they know where they were going against 100 smart people. So they had to dumb them down. Because at the beginning of the movie, it was like 4 or 5 at a time. And then it became like a ridiculous amount. So I guess they had to be stupid.
What's my guy? What's my see? This movie was not like Equalizer, where he just always got the upper hand. They like showed some struggle.
But technically, Aiden is he's basically the
Sidekick,
sidekick. Yeah, he
yeah.
is he's basically who John Cena was in this movie. He is a
How
Wyatt.
did you feel about John Cena being like? Because we saw him in the last Fast and Furious. He was pretty much unstoppable too, except for when he got blown up. But uh, what else was he in? Like, I mean, Johnson. What's our show we was watching for a second? Peacemaker,
Yeah.
and is he just like man, he just big buff guy to just be doing stuff sometimes, man, and like, but he's solidified getting a job in Hollywood, and he can always go
He
pull up to
actually
a
kind of
WrestleMania.
he's funny though. He can
And that's what I was thinking too. I was like,
technically he can't be anything else. He's too buff. But The Rock, like the difference between John Cena and The Rock, I'm sorry, The Rock is always The Rock in every movie. That motherfucker is not. He Black Adam. No, he The Rock. He Hobbs. He The Rock.
he's the Rock.
John Cena, I feel like okay. Peacemaker is very
I can.
different than the character of John Cena on wrestling. This man cusses. He does things. That's completely different. John Cena. The Rock is The Rock. Dwayne Johnson is not cussing and doing wild shit and having sex in scenes. John Cena is. So Dwayne Johnson doing what he did in WWE, except he not selling as much.
Because to an extent, John Cena's gonna be John Cena too. Act like the dumbass, but kind of cool, smart guy.
But he also does things and like Peacemaker is very much different than John Cena, the wrestler who is hustle, loyalty, and respect. Peacemaker like, no, I'm gonna shoot this dude because he's in my way. I can whoop Batman ass. You know what I'm saying? The Rock in every movie is The Rock. I don't care what he is. He's gonna talk slow. He's gonna do people eyebrow.
He's gonna do.
He's probably gonna put the rock bottom on somebody. I seen it in Hobbs and Shaw. I seen it in Fast and Furious. He did the rock bottom. I'm like, he doing his wrestling finishes in these movies.
What they be saying in the audience? Oh, we did the thing.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, he does his wrestling finishes. Come on, man. I'm just saying, the Rock is the Rock.
But I
Yeah,
gotta say, overall, I enjoyed this movie a lot. Am I putting it into consideration for movie of the year in February? It's debatable. It had so many different angles and it did well. Like y'all ever watched or you ever play any of y'all out there ever play Xenoverse? And you'll have like where if you pick Goku, a certain type of Goku, his like he's got like this octagon thing, and it's like strength, attacks, key, blah blah blah. It's got all that. Like this wasn't where a Goku was like straight up like I'm just strong in this one area and I'm all right in the others. This movie is well balanced in every area. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed the writing. If I had to give it a number, I'm going 8.5, and I can lean at 9. I wouldn't argue with nobody that says it's a 9.
I go 8. Henry Cavill wasn't even in the movie in like a significant way, but he's like had an effect on the movie. Henry Cavill, man, how did Dare the Witcher give us the baby brother Hemsworth and make us think that's the witch after you gave us Henry Cavill? Oh, I want good luck to the Superman that replaces him too, because he looks like Superman. I'm like, how does
I,
this dude?
yeah, yeah. I don't know how. I mean, I think that's something that needs to be debated. I don't think you make another Superman unless you draw him. Unless you draw him and make him animated series, you don't do it like that. That's just like trying to
Or you just
voice
do
over
Suicide,
Batman. You can
or you do,
try.
or you do
You can
Suicide
try and
Squad
voice
and
over
kill him off.
Batman, but
You can kill him off and do the Suicide Squad because Superman's a dumbass. By the way, if anybody, spoiler alert for Super Suicide Squad, Super,
Suicide Squad
the
kill the
game,
Justice League.
yeah, Superman's a dumbass, and I'm gonna spoil this for y'all. So leave if y'all don't want to be spoiled. 3, 2, 1. The second time Superman gets the world destroyed, basically, he got it destroyed. That's 90%. 90% of the world died because of Superman. Again, for the second time.
Batman said, Harley, not even you are dumb enough to think you can defeat Superman. They did it.
By
Plot
the way,
armor.
by the way,
We got gold kryptonite, nigga.
that
What?
game, that game is foolish because I promise you, Flash should kill everyone so fast.
Man,
Like the reason Flash ain't unstoppable is because Flash don't kill people. If Flash wanted to murder people, there ain't nobody on Earth besides Superman that can stop him,
don't
and he
worry.
can't. And he can't stop them either.
I got an anti-speed force. What is anti-speed force? How do you create that? Speed force is something that you're not supposed to be able to understand.
It's basically.
But they figured it out enough to be like, nigga, this how you create something to stop the speed force, and the nigga was still moving fast. Like, there's no such thing as killing the Justice League, just unless you just want to do it.
unless you Batman, who already had a room made for everybody to die.
I'll give it to Batman. It's these
Well,
writers.
yeah, Batman
That
can.
is doing.
Only reason Batman can do it because he live with these people. So he just watch them all day because he's like a psychopath. It was like these people go evil.
Which I think is a very unexplored part of, like, we got to stop making Batman movies about him just being Batman and fighting in action.
He got mental illness, bro. He's
Let's
traumatized.
let's talk about the psychopathy of Batman. Let's do a 2.5 hour long movie about him just sitting around the Batcave just
Watch
watching
it.
it.
I knew it. I knew
Man,
it.
man, think about it. So, man, what if I came and found out one day that all you do is sit in your room and think about how you can kill me and how you do it,
I'm not even. I
and
don't.
I found out.
It's not kill. You just want to beat me up because that's what Batman does. He's just like, I've watched 48 hours of tape on Superman stream. I know how to beat him now. Bro, I thought we were boys. That was Superman whole thing.
You stay up all night watching film on superheroes, and then go to work the next day and act like ain't shit happened. But that's why they only show certain parts of Batman's actual sunlit day. They don't show much of it. They
He go
show
out at
beautiful
night and like, what do you do at daytime? Study motherfuckers.
stuff. Like he wakes up probably like lift weights or something, and then goes to Wayne Tech, and then you and Lucius Fox talk about stuff. Like, hey man, where are we at on Green Lantern? Where are we at on him? Oh well, it's this nigga name. What? Then you got a yellow ring? Yeah, that nigga was ready to get Green Lantern out of here till we got him out of here. So, but he had the blueprint on how to get him out of here.
Yeah, man, had a contingency plan for everybody. Like, hey, man. And
What
then,
do you do to Wonder Woman? Shit, man, I'm gonna just start using fear gas. What?
by the way, if you ain't never read a comic book, basically what he does is make her you fear gas, start murking everybody, and then she goes crazy and like feels bad, and then you can get her. I'm like, what kind of strategy is this?
Let me use Wonder Woman against my strategy to kill some of y'all is use Wonder Woman against y'all, and then I'm a killer at some point.
But yeah, Henry Cavill was amazing. That's how we got on this.
Yes, yeah, man.
Like I said, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston, Dua Lipa, Ariana DeBose, Bryce Dallas Howard, I always brag about her. Amazing actresses. Some people you'll probably see in the future that we'll talk about. But that's all I got, Joe. I think it was a well acted, well produced movie. Very
Yeah,
good
shout
start
out
to
to
the year
Dua
for us,
Lipa.
man.
One kiss is all it takes for you to fall in love with me. Don't worry about it.
But that's all I got. Joe, Uniqo, what can they find you?
Man, I'm back, baby. I'm back and I'm ready to work harder than ever, except like not for other people, but for me. So I'm very excited. At uniqowilliams.com. We gonna the Joe Jones aspect of things. He is moving on to greener pastures. And when Joe Jones is happy, Unico's happy. So we're gonna keep on doing things. Movies will be out. I'm debating about watching Mean Girls. I'm not sure. But Beekeeper, I might watch that, but I think that's gonna be a little over the top. I think it's gonna be like Fast X. Whenever you got what's our boy's name that be in
Jason
Fast X?
Statham.
When you got him in anything, it's about to be over the top. So I'm
Yo,
debating.
you remember Crank? Remember Crank? Crank was
Oh
some
my
nice shit.
God.
He had a
Don't get me
bitch in the
started.
racetrack, dog. He had it in the racetrack. He's like, I gotta, if I don't get this off, I'm gonna die.
I can't see. Listen,
Like and
like it,
subscribe if
make
y'all
sure
dig
y'all
it.
like and subscribe. I'm working on some things. We may have to do some stuff from the laptop here. I have an amazing PC that decides that it wants to shit on itself. Um, I'll figure that part out, but that's gonna make my life a lot easier. But once we get that going, we right here. There's some cool enough quality, so we'll make it happen. But uniqowilliams.com, you can still catch me there. Uniqo Williams on YouTube. That's all I got, though, man.
Yeah. And if you don't know, it's 2024, baby. And if you got that hating shit, my boy got something for you.
Shut the fuck up in 2024. You sound